Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. Check us out on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and the IG. Listen to us on Anchor or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch these two glorious bastards, as Mike just said, pre-recording here on YouTube as we continue our YouTube experience with Think Tank Sports. Week 18 in the NFL, the regular season is finally over. Mike and I are happy and sad for that. Mike can describe his own feelings. I don't need to talk about his feelings on his behalf, but it's sad that we don't have, the volume of games after this week, but the games get a lot more intense, and we've got our second consecutive wild card weekend, whatever the NFL is trying to promote it, coming up with some good matchups and some intriguing matchups. But week 18 was it was okay. I mean, there was some things that went on, some things that we all could have done without, but that's typically week 18 when teams are going nowhere and going nowhere fast. All that being said, Mike, how the heck are you?
Boy, you said a lot there, buddy.
Yep.
I think I'm doing good. I was doing good when you started, so I'll go with that. No, I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah, like you said, always bittersweet this time of year. The intensity of the games gets cranked up, and consequences are everywhere. But also means the end of the season and the end of NFL. But we'll mourn another day, Dave, because both of our teams made the playoffs, buddy. And I know I've been accused of being less than enthusiastic about that. I'm certainly very happy about the Giants making it legitimately, not fluke. They overcame a lot of obstacles, and I'm just very excited about the future for the New York Giants, and finally getting it right in the head coaching department. I guess finally, obviously that's in the eye of the beholder, but
sure.
I felt like a little bit before we had the right head coaching fit. And so I would love to see Brian Daboll hang around for a little bit. So far, we still have to see, like we can't crown them yet, but like where we are.
We can't crown their ass?
No, Denny, we can't. I wonder what percentage of our listening audience, Dave, knows what that's a reference to, and how many times we actually do reference it.
Yeah.
Would be interesting to know. Speaking of interesting things to know, we do a couple quick Twitter polls this week, and the one we'll talk about here, Dave, is in regards to what the NFL is going to do about the Bengals Bills suspended game with the Damar Hamlin hit and all of that. And so we put a poll out there. The options were for them to do nothing, to call it a tie, to eliminate the Super Bowl extra week, and lastly, give both teams a win, which was kind of my concoction. But anyway, our esteemed listeners in first place went with eliminate the Super Bowl extra week.
God.
That didn't happen. He just said, oh God. Obviously, neither one of us voted for that one.
No.
What do you think about the decision from the NFL and all
yeah
the employees?
I mean,
what do you think, buddy?
It's tough. I initially thought, don't play this game. Don't play the Bills Bengals game. Nobody wants to play it. The players don't want to. And as we heard, later on into the week, we heard that exact thing from both teams. Yep. Nobody wanted to play this game, at least not right away. I would have gone for eliminating the bye week in between the championship and the Super Bowl. I think it's utterly ridiculous. some of the best Super Bowls have been when there's only been 1 week between the championships. You think about the Giants, Bills, and they used to rotate that too. So that was,
Sure.
it was 2 weeks 1 year and 1 week the next. I would have liked to have seen them done that and just push everything back. So if they were going to play the game, next, this week coming up, have it be a standalone. The NFL doesn't want to do that. Of course, they want all these games. And there was, rumors that they were going to play Bills Bengals and then also do the NFC, wild card weekend and then do another week. And that didn't make any sense to me. And I'm glad they didn't do that.
Right.
But what they did with the neutral site, if the Bills and Chiefs happen to get to the AFC Championship game, it'll be a neutral site because the Bills had a chance to have the number 1 seed and the Chiefs have the number 1 seed. And that's been bouncing around. They can't do it in Indianapolis because there's this huge volleyball tournament. And you can put money on the fact that the NFL is going to try to put this game indoors, rumors of Atlanta, and it should be outside, for God's sakes. They should be playing it in Pittsburgh or Tennessee, somewheres that's outdoors and close to both teams. Playing it in Atlanta is freaking ridiculous. So here's what I hope is that the Chiefs get beat and it's, the Bills against whoever it might be, the Chargers or the Chargers. And we don't have to do this neutral site game because I think it just eliminates all of the things you think about when you get to a championship level game in the NFL. That's not the Super Bowl. Is you want to, you battle for that. So that's a little bit of a long-winded answer, but I'm not crazy about what they did. I think there were better options as far as that goes. Do you have your thoughts, Mike?
I didn't have a strong thought either way. I think I went with call it a tie, but I'm not passionate in any direction on that.
Would it have been different if the Giants were involved?
Probably.
Take out the Bills, put the Giants in there.
Yeah, for sure. It would have ratcheted up the heat for me for sure. So, but I don't know in what direction.
Right, and that's fair.
Yeah. So, I just feel like MLB is like a traffic cop on Valium. It's like slow down. You know what I mean? They're just it's just do not compute. You know what I mean? So that being said, unprecedented situation, unprecedented decisions had to be made.
Yep.
They're doing the best they can.
Yep. And there's a piece.
Beat anybody up.
Yeah. There's a piece of that you can't discount. I would argue that there's some level of competition and some pieces, that were already in place to help that a little bit, but understanding it is an unprecedented situation and we'll deal with it. The decisions have been made. The teams now need to play the games and see what happens.
Sure. Absolutely. What's next, buddy?
On that theme there, I would have loved to have seen the Raiders beat the Chiefs on Saturday night to really just wipe out all of the pieces with this. Oh, we're going to do a neutral site game and everything else. But the Raiders could not put up a fight really at all. The Chiefs just kind of walked all over them 31-13. Jared Stidham, looked like Jared Stidham. I mean, let's call it like we see it. There definitely were, there was one play, I think it was in the third quarter where he went to do a check down and they showed Devontae Adams coming out and coming across the field and he would have been open and Stidham checked down and they're like, he didn't like push the ball down the field. And I know my older son was like, do you think Do you think Derek Carr would have made that throw? Yeah. Yeah. He would have made that throw. So, it is what it is there. I would have liked to seen the Raiders put up a little bit more of a fight. But they didn't. And,
but they didn't.
They didn't. So 6-11 season for the Raiders. A season after, you really thought they were going to build on something this year after last year getting into the playoffs and the end of the year. And it just never really materialized. And Josh McDaniels, is he on the hot seat?
I think it's warm. I wouldn't call it hot, but certainly, I mean, how could he not be? With the roster he inherited, didn't seem like he had a plan, or he stayed in evaluation mode too long, or however what you want to slice all that up. But it'd be very interesting if he has another bad season. If he gets the hammer, that would be something for sure. But time will tell. Of course, we're going to continue to play those games. So let's talk about these teams that didn't make the playoffs real quick. Give each of them a moment or two here to see where they're at. And let's start, Dave. Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kudos to them all the way around.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. I heard this stat today. Let's do this. So Mike Tomlin has coached in 258 NFL games. Okay, with the Steelers. And in 257 of them, his team was still in the running for a playoff berth.
Wow.
One of those games, I don't know which one it is. I heard the stat, one of them where they were not in playoff contention.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to get coach of the year because there's a bunch of other candidates. But when you look at like kind of the hand he was dealt, if you will, with Roethlisberger retiring and having to kind of change gears, and, Pickett coming in, and, who did they have? Mitch Trubisky at the beginning of the year and all of that kind of stuff. What a great job by Mike Tomlin, but they didn't make the playoffs. So 9-8 trending up. I would think so. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love where they're at with the skill positions too. Young, cheap on the roster and the salary cap, and ready to rock. So really surprising. I don't know why we're all continually surprised, or maybe we're all not. Maybe it's just me, but either way, great job out of the Steelers salvaging what could have been a really ugly season. Dave, the Patriots, didn't make the playoffs, and really, I think, overachieved for the roster they were putting out there week in and week out. They end up 8-9, and I think their biggest decision is going to be at the quarterback position. That they're going to have to decide immediately and put a plan in place. What do you think?
Yeah, defensively they were decent. I think the challenge for them offensively, and we talked about this all year, is they're just now you saw a little bit from the two-headed monster of Stevenson and Harris against the Bills. So they're okay in the running back spot. They're okay in the running back spot. They need more skill position players. They need wide receivers. They need some speed. They're not a very fast team. So we'll see what GM Bill Belichick does in the off season here, but they need more skill position players. They need more exciting players. We'll see if Bill actually goes after those.
Right. Jets, Jets. 7-10, really have made a disaster out of the quarterback position. It's just bad.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I mean, they
there's no
started
other
Joe
way
Flacco in this game, right?
right.
And Stevie was saying it. We were all saying it. Like, why isn't Zach Wilson playing? There's nothing on the line here for the Jets. This is a perfect opportunity for Zach
Right.
Wilson to just get in there, play. Put in some different plays for him. Let him try some things. What the hell? Nope. No, we get
Yeah.
Flacco.
Ugly. Very, very ugly. The Titans, Dave.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I think a playoff caliber defense, in my opinion. When we talked about last week, they just screwed up the wide receiver position.
Yep.
Badly, very very badly. So, I don't. What do? You just clean house and start over at GM and head coach, and move on from there. I
mean, I don't think
drastic, but
yeah, it does seem a little drastic. I don't think Mike Vrabel is going to be out as head coach. They did fire 4 assistants today, Mike, including offensive coordinator Todd Downing, offensive line coach, the secondary coach, and the offensive skills assistant. Wow, that sounds like a inflated offensive skills assistant, not the offensive skills head coach, the offensive skills assistant. They are this similar as we look at talking about the Patriots. The Jets are a little bit different because they have some talent at the skill positions that got hurt this year. The Titans need more skill position players, and it's got to be time to be done with Ryan Tannehill, right?
I hope so.
I mean you want Malik Willis in there. I mean, I know he wasn't great, but he's a talent. You think you drafted him. Let's at least give him a chance to play.
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about this yesterday. My dream scenario of the ball being handed over to Malik and making a playoff run with him at the helm, and he just blew it just badly. The opportunity was right there, and he just blew it. But he's young. He'll bounce back. So I still believe in him. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do with him. But man, I'm speechless, Dave. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless.
The Bears. So let's talk about the Bears. The Bears and the Texans, right? So the Texans with 2 stinking wins coming into this week. The Bears with 3, and the Texans in line for the number 1 draft pick and everything else. And then they go and they go up 24-14 on the Colts. They blow the lead. It's 31-24. They come back and the Texans win at the end of the game. And the Bears get embarrassed with Nathan Peterman there at quarterback in Chicago against the Vikings. And so now the Chicago Bears are on the clock for the number 1 pick, and the Houston Texans, the worst team in football all year long, end up with the number 2 pick. They fired Lovie Smith like 5 minutes after the game. So 2 years in a row, 2 coaches, we fire them. David Culley gets fired. Lovie Smith gets fired. The Texans are a mess. Who the heck is going to want to go there, even though they have the number 2 pick?
I get it's bad. It's ugly. The NFL needs to step in. I don't. Wow.
The
Again.
NFL needs to step in.
I
I did hear an argument today for Sean Payton in Houston. I don't think he will go there, but he lives in Dallas. So, he's down in that area, but I can't, there's an opportunity to get a quarterback. I don't think he's going to Houston. I really don't.
What a mess. What a freaking mess. I don't get it. I really don't. So that's our recap of the bottom of the NFL.
We hope you enjoyed
Yeah.
the bottom feeders.
Did I mention, Dave, that both the Buffalo Bills and the New York Football Giants have made the NFL playoffs and advanced to the next round here? And let's start with the AFC and the matchups and where everything landed. How are you feeling?
It's as good as they could have done given the circumstances. Miami is limping into the playoffs. If you, and I was looking at this yesterday, I just find absolutely fascinating. Okay. So, outside of the Chargers. So if you look at the AFC teams coming into the playoffs, the Bengals have won 8 in a row. The Bills have won 7 in a row. The Jaguars have won 5 in a row. The Chiefs have won 5 in a row. The Dolphins limping in, and the Chargers had won, I believe, 5 in a row before their loss this last week. So the AFC teams, besides the Dolphins, are just, and the Ravens are not doing great, but most of the, you look at 5 of the 7 teams or 6 of the 7 teams, 5 of them, they are rolling into the playoffs. So I think that's interesting. The Dolphins are limping in, right now it doesn't look like Tua is going to play. And so then you're looking at Teddy Two Gloves with his broken finger on his throwing hand, or Skylar Thompson. Please tell me out there, Dolphin fans, how excited are you to go to Buffalo with Teddy, one glove, one finger, broken finger, or Skylar Thompson? That's okay. I'll wait. Exactly. So I feel good from a Bills perspective as far as that goes. Jacksonville and the Chargers, Mike, on Saturday night, that feels like that's going to be a really good game.
I think you're absolutely correct. Two really evenly matched teams, and I would look forward to that matchup quite a bit. So that's a good point out of you. As usual. And then we have the rematch from the previous week. The Bengals hosting the Ravens. We don't know yet about Lamar Jackson. Nothing's been said yet. You have to believe Bengals by 6.5. You have to believe the Bengals are gonna win this game. And then you're looking at a Buffalo Cincinnati, divisional playoff game. And the Jacksonville Chargers winner goes to Kansas City. It's to be 2 really good games in the divisional round for sure. Yeah,
if they end up that way.
I think that the winner of the Jacksonville Chargers game, the momentum, as long as they come out relatively healthy, the momentum is going to mean a lot in that series and the beginning of that next game. And as long as they can hold on to that momentum, it's going to be a lot to overcome. But we'll see. A good time will be had by all, I'm sure.
Yes. So that's
sure.
So that's the AFC matchups, Mike.
Do you want to break it down further, or we'll attack that another day?
Yeah, we'll attack that another day. I mean, I think that's, we got the 3 games there. It looks potentially like 2 blowouts and a close game, but this is the NFL, so you never know.
You never ever do know, do you?
No.
Oh, okay. The Eagles, Dave, 14-3, but limping. I don't think you could ever really say that. But I just feel that they're really struggling down the stretch here, and they have a lot to overcome. They really do, especially on the offensive line. They're banged up more than they're letting out right now. So, what are your thoughts on the Eagles, and what are they, Eagles fly, or are they
I mean, they're very talented. I think we talked a little about last week as far as the timing of injuries go. And the Eagles, just their injuries are at the end of the year, which makes it difficult, offensive line. Now, Jalen Hurts did play in this last game against the Giants. So I think that certainly is helpful for them. But this is not the Eagles team of 4 weeks ago that, came off of those 2 incredible complete games where you thought, holy cow, like they continue to play like that. I mean, nobody is going to beat them. And they've looked average the last few weeks. And if you think about the AFC teams and all these AFC teams that are on these nice winning streaks, you like to come into the playoffs playing your best football. And right now the Eagles are not doing that. Doesn't mean that they can't, they have the bye, so they won't play this week, maybe get a little more healthy. It's possible, but they're not playing their best football for sure. I'm sure they would love to be 3 or 4 weeks back, but they're not. And so they will compete and do their best. But the team, the team that I think, everybody had talked about, during the year and finally got rip roaring is the Niners with 9 straight wins. And they're, playing a Seattle Seahawks team that, had to get a field goal in overtime to get in, and then, root for the Lions, who, came through and beat the Aaron Rodgers, crap show that is the Green Bay Packers. And so, San Francisco, a 10-point favorite against the Seahawks. You have to believe they're going to play well and win. And I think they really have to be, I think, the favorite at the moment, just because of how well they're playing right now.
Yeah.
In the NFC.
Right. No, I agree.
Then Mike, your Giants?
I don't know why I'm just restraining my excitement constantly for this team. I promise you guys, I'm not showing you a good job of what I'm feeling. I'm very excited, just thrilled that, they are where they are here. And I really think we have a legitimate shot at beating the Vikings. I think that we're healthy at the right time at both offense and defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And guys are stepping up at tight end. Guys are stepping up defense linebacker at the right time. I love how Dable handled yesterday, and the guys that were not playing weren't even dressed. There wasn't, it was very definitive. You're Daniel Jones, Saquon, you're not playing.
Yep.
Don't get dressed.
Right. Not even a chance. Somebody gets hurt, you're going in the game. Nope. You're just not playing.
A couple of them were inactive, and I was even surprised that they had that. But so I just love where they're at. How far can or will they go after that? Will certainly be interesting for sure. There's a lot of things in my life and in my household that are a little bit eerily similar to 2011. So that's also interesting. So yeah, I think the team that nobody's given any respect for, oddly enough, and I'm certainly not going to be the first one. It is that darn Cowboys team. They just seem to be flying under the radar, and for a Dallas team that's so usually overhyped, it's just very interesting to me where they are right now. So, what do you think about the stars on their helmets?
Well, I don't like them. I mean, let's rip the stars off and burn them. I mean, that's a whole separate discussion. Mike, they come in, they put no effort, no zero zip zilcho. Mr. Blutarski 0.0 has no grade point average. Just awful. 26-6 shellacking at the hands of the Commanders. Never looked into it. You know, Dak Prescott continues to throw bad interceptions. That being said, I mean, they are the Cowboys. There's a lot of talent on that team. CeeDee Lamb and, you know, Tony Pollard and Micah Parsons on defense. They have a lot of good things going, but that's just not how you want to come into this game. And I understand, you know, there wasn't a lot for them to play for this last week. They had to root for the Eagles to lose and the 49ers to lose, for the Cowboys to win to get that number 1 seed. But no effort, period, out of the Cowboys. That being said, I think that they have I would say a very winnable game in Tampa. They're only favored by 3. Vegas is kind of begging you to take Tampa, I think, a little bit with Brady, but Dallas is clearly the better team. If they play up to their potential, that's not a close game from my perspective. It just isn't. Tampa has struggled mightily on the offensive end. But you know, so that being said, they are a bit under the radar, but it's the Cowboys, and until they perform in the postseason, people are going to continue to put them under the radar, and rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so indeed. Sea Chickens, they're interesting, dude. You know, Geno Smith is, you know,
a Pro Bowl quarterback,
Pro Bowler, right? Geno Smith, scary. That's scary.
4,200 yards and 30 passing touchdowns for Geno Smith. Oh yeah, we all had that on our fantasy this year.
Right.
Drafted him right out of the gate. Geno Smith, big year. You may continue.
Thank you. Very nice of you. 3 fingers, 1 ass cheek, but on the outside looking in, the optimism in Detroit, through the roof, dude, and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Good for them, for sure. Commanders, the 8-1. I don't know where the Commanders are at, especially at quarterback.
No,
I mean, Wentz clearly is an issue. Seems like they believe Heineke isn't the answer, or I don't know why they made the switch just to Sam Howell just to see what he had, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So rightfully they're in last place in the NFC East.
Yeah. I heard an interesting stat today, Mike, and we were talking the other day about places that Sean Payton might go, and what opportunities might there be, and where are places that coaches might be out. What about Ron Rivera, Mike? I heard this stat today. He's coached 9 years in the league. 6 of those years he's had a losing record.
Oh my.
Do you think?
Wow.
I mean, people go, "Wow, Ron Rivera, he's a good coach." No, he's not.
No,
he's not. He's had 9 years, and 6 of them have been losing. So I wouldn't be surprised if Riverboat Ron gets in the boat without the paddle and is set off to somewhere else besides Washington. and we talked about, I think off the air, the issues with Daniel Snyder and the ownership and what's going on there. That could change a whole lot of things as well. Their defense is okay. They have some, McLaurin is nice. They have some skill players, but they need more. And it's tough. Like you said, Mike, they're in the NFC East, and that's a very difficult division. And now, you see the Giants doing better, and obviously the Eagles and the Cowboys. That the Commanders have a lot of work to do to get up into that realm,
Right.
I think. And the Giants are trending up, so they're in a tough spot.
I agree. What do you want to talk about here with the NFC and the other games that are going to be played, in the championship and divisional rounds, or do you want to save that?
Yeah, I think we can save it.
Right.
It gives our tens of fans the opportunity to wait and see what we think of all of these things in all of these games. But
it's Black Monday in the NFL.
It is Black Monday in the NFL.
And, we have some coaching decisions. We knew Hackett's out in Denver.
Yep.
We've known that. Lovie Smith, one and done with the Texans. Yep. Very interesting. Frank Reich, the Colts, we knew that. Matt Rule, we knew in Carolina. And then Clifford Kingsbury, the fourth, is out in Arizona. So there's 5 right off the rip that have been let go. And, we have some, of course, rumors and innuendo everywhere about all of these vacancies already. I want to start with Sean McVay because it's interesting to me that they are considering on both sides to maybe take a 1-year hiatus, and then he comes back after a year. 36 years old, easily the youngest coach in the NFL, without even having to think hard about it. And here he is, looking to take a quick break. That's never been done as far as I know, Dave. It'd be interesting. It would be precedent setting for sure. What do you think about that?
Oh boy,
yeah. Oh boy, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's so interesting because people say, well, you look what's gone on, and they go from the Super Bowl and to this year and the injuries and everything else. Are we in this spot here where we got to get into for God's sakes, he's 36 years old. You're young.
Right.
Can you fight a little bit?
Right.
No, you're so broken after winning the Super Bowl, and the next year you're terrible. Rumors about him going to TV, and he thinks he's the next John Madden. And like, are you serious, dude? Like, let's look at John Madden's record and your record. They don't compare. Those Raiders teams of the 70s were just, would have won a bunch of Super Bowls if not for the Steelers being there. And you have a Rams team that, played in, I just say it, I played in the worst Super Bowl that was ever played against the Patriots.
Right.
And then, mortgaged their entire team to win the Super Bowl last year. And you see the after effects of that. 1-7 on the road this year. They only scored 307 points. This is just ridiculous to me. Like Sean McVay, and I get everybody has the things that they go through and the challenges that they have, but you win the Super Bowl and the next year you're 5-12, and now all of a sudden you're gonna step away.
Right.
And what are you gonna do for a year? Who are you gonna bring in? You're gonna bring in one of the assistants? How are the players gonna manage that and play with that? There's no way that is successful under any circumstances. If McVay is going to leave, then you just cut ties and move on to somebody else.
Yep. I agree. It's almost old man get off my porch, but you know what? I might be old school, but I'm not an old fool. Credit to American poet Deion Sanders, prime time.
Prime time. Where Macava? You're a real man, Deion. You're a real man.
That's a
God. You gotta love some of those. I actually saw a video the other day of Bo Jackson at Auburn and Deion Sanders at Florida State, and Bo Jackson running and stiff arming Deion Sanders right to the ground.
Oh, really?
And
interesting.
Just great things. So we've got five places without coaches.
So
the Rams,
clearly the number one candidate is
yes, Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. So let's target him in somewhere. What do you think?
Oof. Oh boy, oh boy. I mean, the first place that came up was Denver. Let's see, Denver 5-12. I mean, you could make.
Would he want to go to Denver? I guess is.
Yeah, I mean,
he's almost got upper hand in these negotiations.
He definitely does.
The talent pool in Denver,
not so good. I would think, you have Russell Wilson. Okay, he's a little bit older. I would think Sean Payton wants to go to a place where he can get a quarterback and have some say in that.
Right.
But I just said I don't think he goes to Houston.
So what if Denver said, hey, we're going to go out and get Garoppolo and bring you in, and we have a great young defense. I love Jerry Jeudy. I've wanted him on
the Giants for 3 years. Yep.
Yeah. So,
but Russell Wilson is there. They have Russell Wilson. I mean, his contract is, they're screwed. That's there.
True. He's not going anywhere.
No. So do you say, okay, he goes to Arizona and, works with Kyler Murray, who's still young and is talented, but has made some mistakes.
Yeah.
Do you go to Carolina and try to find, a quarterback there?
Or do you play opossum and wait and see if the Dallas Stars become available?
Oh, now I heard something today about this.
Okay.
What do you think if Dallas goes out and loses to Tampa Bay? Does Mike McCarthy get the axe?
I guess it'll depend on how they lose to me.
Okay.
But I find it difficult to believe that would be the first knee-jerk reaction. I think Jerry Jones has mellowed over the years, but now he's turned a corner where the end is near, and he's traveled each and every highway.
But he knows Sean Payton is out there.
Right. So, the urgency to get the best available, regardless of people's feelings or hurt.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just something to think about. We talked about Dallas and flying under the radar.
I know this is sacrilege because Payton's a Parcells guy.
Yes.
But not a big fan of Sean Payton. His personality, his whatever. So I would almost rather just pass on him altogether. But
these teams are not going to. I mean, he's already been out there talking about, who's going to get on his staff, and another potential is Washington, as we were saying. If Riverboat Ron is out of there, I think there's just not that team that jumps right out at you. I would say the team that jumps right out at you is the Cowboys if Mike McCarthy is not there. If not, then Sean Payton, as you were saying, holds all the cards and gets a pick of the teams that he wants there to go to.
Yeah. Quite interesting. What about poor Lovie Smith and the 1 year in Houston? I almost feel like that was prearranged or preordained coming in, because there's not a lot of uproar, or you don't have the subtle undertones of racism being thrown out there or whatever. I think that he was brought in to be a stabilizer. Maybe got paid a handsome sum to just come in and fall on the sword. So
and fall on the sword he did. Now, I did hear today that the Texans were 8-8 against the spread this year. So, they did play some close games, but let's be honest, they lost 13 games. Did not win a game at home this year. We wondered when they hired Lovie Smith last year. He was on the staff there with David Culley. So there was, again, like you said, the stabilizing bit, but we wondered why are you
why him?
Why are they doing this? And after a year, you have to go, I don't think they knew.
Right.
I don't think they knew.
Then quickly, from the team's perspective, the Colts or the Panthers, which job is better? If you were a free agent head coach and could pick either one on its face value, what would you rather have?
289,
Colts have
27. The Colts have Jonathan Taylor,
and other skill position stacked, at tight end, wide receiver.
But, are you looking at bigger pieces like, is Tom Brady gone after this year in Tampa? And then, that division becomes wide open, where you look at the AFC South and, the Titans had a little bit of a down year, but Jacksonville seems to be, trending upwards. The Texans are bad. Boy, I don't know. Indoors in Indy versus outdoor in the nice weather in Carolina. You're just trying to weigh all the options. Mike, I don't know. That's a real toss up for me, one way or the other. It really is.
I'm exactly with you. I'm going to put the Carolina job just slightly ahead, because I think Irsay as an owner is just half a wingnut. You know what I mean? And so I think that it would just be a little more stable. Carolina's Charlotte's a great community, and all of those things would now become forefront for me.
That's fair. That's a good assessment.
Okay. This is just a random stat to end the season. The Jets
oh boy,
had 33 drives in a row without scoring to end the season. 33 in a row.
Stevie
Are
covers.
you surprised that Salah's not feeling a little bit of a little temperature? It's you had it on warm, and now it's on like 3.
Mike, they were 7-4. We talked about this last week, 2 weeks ago. How you were
talk
looking
about it enough. Yeah.
But looking at the AFC East and how everybody was doing so well, and
oh my goodness,
and the Jets were 7-4, and looking at playoffs, Mike, they lost their last 6 games. I think they won 7 games. Let's look at that. Overall, they had a much better season. But it's hard to brush off the 6 losses in a row to the end of the year. And you look at the mess that you described earlier with the quarterback position. Robert Saleh, the seat's going to be warm, I think, next year. It
has to be.
Again, they've had some injuries, but they need to make that next step, right? They got to 7 wins. They need to be in the playoffs next year.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair statement. despite the fact that the AFC is strong and their division is strong. The Jets need to be in the playoffs next year. And if they're not, you may see Robert Saleh get bounced.
For the division. Because, you got the Nerd King there. Seems to be up and coming and, ready to vault forward. Belichick, maybe the greatest coach ever, certainly in the top 2 or 3.
The old guy.
And Salah, it's just, McVay is just as steady
McDermott.
and solid. Who?
McDermott. You said McVay.
Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
It's okay. His brother from another mother.
Should be respecting him. He's just tremendous, and all indications and reports of how he's handled this situation in Buffalo has been just tremendous. So you got yourself a good one there, buddy.
Yep. We're happy with him in Buffalo.
Real quick, give me a wild card upset or something that might surprise us this weekend as we're watching the games.
Well, I had texted you earlier today, and I think it's going to be the trendy pick. It is the Giants in Minnesota. If you remember, just a few weeks ago, the Giants, had every chance to win, and Joseph comes out and bangs a career high, plus 50 field goal at the end of the game to win.
Right.
But I will say this, the Giants, they have their blueprint for how to win. They have to play that way.
Right.
If they, get behind or turn the ball over, it's not as easy for them to overcome some of those things as maybe a Minnesota team that, is definitely more talented overall, I would say. But that being said, Minnesota favored by 3. I think that the Giants have, when I look at all of these games, the biggest opportunity for what a lot of people would say would be a big upset.
I agree.
You?
It would be a big upset for sure. And
nobody would be upset if you picked the Giants yourself, Mike.
No, that I appreciate you saying that. I really think that the Chargers, I know it's a 4-5 game, but I think the Chargers are going to make a run. I said that last week. I think I alluded to it. And, just feel like they're healthy and ready and just poised right now to strike while the iron's hot. So just very interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Chargers are going to be a trendy pick as well. We need to see how Mike Williams' back is after he got hurt, but sounds like trending towards playing, which is
Herbert and Eckler there,
and Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen's healthy for a change, so very, very exciting team for sure. Great. Hey, what a wonderful time of year. The NFL playoff bound here, and wild card weekend. Get comfortable. This is a 2-day affair, folks. So don't
3-day affair. You got Saturday, Sunday, and the Monday night game.
Don't blow it out early. Pace yourself. There's no heroes. You want to be there Monday night, fresh as a daisy at halftime, finishing off your last plate of nachos for the weekend. So let us know. Send us a picture of your nachos. They're on Twitter or on Facebook, on the Insta. Let us know how
don't forget your cream soda.
Cream sodas for sure. Condensation preferred. And report into us how you're enjoying the weekend. And we'll keep reporting back to you what we see here at Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen as we strive for 5.